episode of The Human Angle. Happy New Week. The negative impact of the coronavirus pandemic has not only been felt across sectors in Nigeria, the consequence of the lockdown on the economy is totally disheartening. Many businesses, especially during the lockdown, were not functional, and those who opened for business were not allowed to operate, or those even did operate were operating below optimum. This has also made many workers to lose their jobs, while some of those who did not are not being paid fully due to salaries being slashed. The truth is, all this has had an effect on the supply and demand chain and people's personal finances. Therefore, in today's episode, we'll be looking at pressures being faced during this period with reference to the Naira devaluation, VAT increase spurring the outgo rise in prices of consumables. A major consequence of this pressure was the upward review of the prices of goods and services by many companies. Surprisingly, when the negative effects of the pandemic was beginning to manifest, the federal government increased the value-added tax from 5% to 7.5%. And the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, in reviewing the impact of the pandemic on the economy, stated that it sees the short to medium-term outlook for the economy as bleak, as the pandemic has led to an unparalleled collapse in commodity prices, capital flights, turmoil in the capital markets, supply chain disruption across sectors, and the destabilization of commercial and economic activities. The gains Nigeria was recording before now in terms of improved economic index before the pandemic are practically all gone. After slipping into its first recession in 25 years in 2016, growth in Nigerians' gross domestic product, that's the GDP, returned but remained below population expansion, meaning that Africa's largest economies per capita declined between 2017 to 2019. And the economy had begun to show promising signs of recovery until the epidemic slowed its progress and has continued to do so. Evidence was what the Central Bank of Nigeria did in March when it adjusted the forex exchange rate to 360 naira per dollar from 307 naira per dollar, aside abolishing the 325 naira and 330 naira concessionary rates. Not done 4 months afterwards, the CBN tactically devalued the naira again when it adjusted the value of the naira to exchange to the dollar at 381 naira. The Apex Bank claimed it was part of measures to converge the nation's multiple exchange rates and ensure stability in the month of July. Although the CBN did not officially declare the devaluation, information from the FMDQ Securities Exchange on the CBN official rate showed a 5.54% change from 360 naira per dollar to 381 naira per dollar. Now, this has had implications for businesses and individuals, especially those that are import dependent. And the case is made worse as the exchange of naira to dollar is even higher in the black markets, where some manufacturers and importers source for their forex. In all, businesses have been significantly destabilized, especially the informal and the medium and small and micro enterprises, due to the lack of adequate cash yields to withstand the shock. A survey conducted by the Lagos Chambers of Commerce and Industry on the COVID-19 crisis impacts on Lagos business community reveals that 81% of the respondents were severely affected by the pandemic, with a median daily revenue loss of 500,000 naira, bringing about the government having to roll out a series of palliatives to soften the impacts of the pandemic on people, while the Central Bank of Nigeria also came up with some interventions to support businesses to cushion the effects of the crisis and help to rebound the economy. On an individual note, the consequences of the negative impacts of the coronavirus, the devaluation of the naira, and increase in VAT has also led to a rise in the prices of goods and services across sectors in the country. For instance, a carton of apple used to go for between 8,000 naira and 8,500 naira, but now it costs as much as 12,000 naira. Also, a carton of Campari drink, which sold for 50,000 naira, now costs 70,000 naira, and that is like almost a 50% increase. Commuting to offices daily as well has also been at an extra cost, as transport fare, for instance, from Kilo in Surulere to CMS, which used to be 200 naira, is now 500 naira. The logistics industry that services most businesses and industries has also raised the charges by about 30 to 50%. Even the pay TV industry has not been left out, as StarTimes recently publicized an increase in their subscription fee, which took effect on August 1st. The company announced an average of 22% increase across its various bouquet subscription rates, and from August 1st this month, August Times basic bouquet subscribers now pay 1,700 naira as against 1,300 naira monthly, while classic bouquet subscribers pay 2,500 as against 1,900 monthly to keep enjoying close to 100 channels. For DTH, that's dish users, smart bouquet subscribers now pay 2,200 as against 1,900 monthly, and super bouquet subscribers pay 4,200 naira as against 3,800 naira monthly earlier before. But however, its Nova bouquet remains unchanged at 900 naira. The company argued that the increase in these prices was as a result of some factors, including federal government's VAT increase effective 1st February this year and the impact of the foreign exchange rates on its business. Now, there are also various evidences that the ongoing global pandemic has taken a negative effect on the global economy, with ripple adverse effects not only on Nigeria but other similar unstable developing and emerging economies. As addressed by the International Monetary Fund World Economic Outlook, Nigeria is facing multiple economic disturbances resulting from the health pandemic, which include economic disruption from the domestic health, workplace closure, disruption in supply chain, lockdowns in the absence of social safety nets, loss of income, and heightened uncertainties. And the spillover from this health pandemic, which would be the adverse effects in terms of trade shocks, tighter global financial conditions, and likely decrease in external investments and remittance flows following the expected slowdown in global growth. To which this may continue to put pressure on exchange rates and ultimately leads to more disruptions of supply chain. This health pandemic and the increase in value-added tax has influenced the rise in prices of consumables, as the impact of the pandemic might continue to drive inflation with higher than expected in an already vulnerable economy like Nigeria. This is evident where the cost of imports from our major trade and financial partners such as China and Europe may likely spike, leading to cost-push inflation in addition to slowdown in the economy due to imminent lockdown in many economies. Therefore, Nigeria's rate of inflation may continue to rise. For instance, according to the National Bureau of Statistics, Nigeria's inflation rate rose further in June 2020 to 12.56% year-on-year, with 0.16 percentage points higher than the previous rate recorded in May 2020 at 12.48%. The report showed that composite food index has increased to 15.18% as compared to 15.04% recorded in May 2020, while core inflation, which excludes the prices of volatile agricultural produce, which peaked at 10.13% in June 2020 compared to 10.12% recorded in May 2020. Now, the implication of this is that consumers are now worse off due to the low purchasing power and inability to afford the same quantity of goods or services as they used to purchase before now. Meanwhile, bearing an impending second wave of the health crisis, which could further threaten global economic growth outlook, and coupled with the absence of major disturbances to food supply in the Nigerian economy, inflation outlook for the rest of the year could be influencing diminishing household incomes. Financial experts anticipate that this worldwide pandemic will adversely impact the global economy with ripple negative effects on the Nigerian economy. However, the short-term response of the Nigerian economy through palliatives and financial injections to the critical sectors of the economy implies that the global pandemic poses a low risk of another falling episode as long as the right policy measures are implemented and sustained. And that's brings us to the end of today's edition of the Human Angle. If you have questions or comments, kindly send a mail to programs@poshareng.com and business@poshareng.com. Visit our website www.poshareng.com to get more information on your personal finance and updates from our news stories and videos. Also follow us on our social media platforms shown on the screen for further updates on our market reports. Till I come your way again tomorrow, thank you for watching and bye for now.